Good morning, Lawrence here again from the Australian Trade Logistics Corporation. Today I've got George here from GDA and we're at the Port of Melbourne's Education Centre. We're right in the heart of the action. We're here at Australia's largest container and cargo port, and we can see everything coming through. This is pretty much perfect location, exactly what we're talking about, all these boxes coming through. So George, thanks mate, and tell us all about
Thanks
GDA.
for having me, Lawrence. Thanks for that, Lawrence. GDA, basically what we are is we are a specialised unpack and pack shipping container company. We'll come to your premises and basically do that, unpack and pack those shipping containers.
Great, fantastic. Now, I've seen the difference, but for the viewers out there and our members, if I'm already got my own people in my warehouse doing the container packing or unpacking, what's the key difference? I mean, you know, what are your points of difference between doing in-house or outsourcing to the GDA?
First of all, the key points are basically what we are. We're trained to do the job. We know how to pick up boxes and put boxes down. Sometimes it's hard to use your own staff to go and pick up, especially 40, 50 kilo boxes, even 10 kilo boxes bending down. They're not used to it. They don't know the rules and the regulations. They can easily come up with an injury.
Yep.
It also takes longer. It takes them away from their job as well. So your hourly rate ends up costing you a lot more money than what it would cost to actually outsource the job. And that's really the main differences of it.
Yep, so it's really faster, safer, cheaper, and it also means that less damage, because I mean, again, I've seen your diverse type of product, so you can do everything from bags of rice right through to, you know, top-end TVs and everything in between. So very expensive right through to very awkward type of carrying stuff.
Yes, and different people can pick up different objects, as you know. So, and we know which of our guys know how to pick up the lighter boxes and which ones use the heavier boxes. Like I say, when you're using your own staff and someone's had an injury, they can be off for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
You need to replace them, and your work cover claims. It just becomes a massive headache for the office.
Yeah, and typically, I mean, the warehouses, they're either, you know, small importers or exporters, even medium-sized importers or exporters. Those staff are probably shared roles. They're doing some other stuff that they could be focusing on in the warehouse or in the office, or even the larger containers and larger companies that you work for. You know, they can be doing better stuff in the warehouse, optimising that warehouse flow. So by outsourcing it to your crew, you focus on your core speciality, just container unpacks. That's all you do.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Also, you've got to realise too, in your own office, when people know they've got a container to unpack tomorrow, they just don't come to work. I've had a lot of clients advise us that this does happen. So this is why they call us, for these reasons.
Yeah. Now, talking about speed, again, obviously safer, but when you're looking at a normal, let's say, generalised warehouse crew who have to go and do their own container unpacks or packing, they're typically a lot slower, or they are definitely a lot slower than what GDA boys do. So you know, that difference and the way that's loaded, palletised, put away is much more professional. I've seen that firsthand. But also from a cost perspective, if I'm, you know, comparing hourly rate of the guys that I'm employing internally versus the way that you guys charge us, how do you charge your customers?
So what we do, Lawrence, is we charge our customers by a container rate. So it'll be a fixed rate for the box. Not how many men we send, not who we send, just for the fixed box. So if you have one 40-foot container, we'll charge you for that one 40-foot container. If you have 10 40-foot containers, we'll give you a rate for 10 40-foot containers. Same for a 20-foot container. Speed-wise, as you were mentioning, I'll give you an example of what does happen. If you've got a 20-foot container with 25 kilo bags of rice, most companies would take 3 to 4 hours to unpack that container. We can do it in 45 minutes.
Wow.
If you have 4 of those containers, instead of waiting 2 days to have it unpacked, we can still do it with one crew and knock it out in a day for you. Or if you want and need it done super urgent, we'll send 2 crews and they'll do 2 containers each for you simultaneously. So we'll be out of your office. If you started at 6, we'll be out by 10:30, 11 o'clock. And everyone can get back onto their normal day duties.
It's a massive difference, especially when more and more companies now, they're really trying to have a competitive advantage with their landed costings, or what we class as cost to serve. So if you've got a fixed price port, container unpack, and as you said before, whether it takes an hour or 2 hours, or you've got 1 crew or 2 crews, you've got a fixed price per container. That's a major advantage when you're actually looking at your distribution costs and your last mile fulfillment modelling.
If it takes 8 hours, you don't even need to worry about it.
Yeah, it's all one cost.
We wear the cost.
Yeah.
And obviously for us to keep in business too, we've got to make sure the containers are done at an efficient time. So you've got us doing that on your behalf.
Well, the other thing, George, you mentioned the efficient timing. Right behind us here, you can see, you know, the Port of Melbourne in action. And vessels, they need to turn around really quickly. So what they do is have detention demurrage charges. We need to make sure containers come in and out of the importers and exporters' premises as quickly as possible. So the real benefit, another additional benefit I should say, with GDA is that not only will they smash out the container packs or unpacks much faster and safer than we could ourselves doing our own stuff, but also they can help with the scheduling, so we can actually get those container movements in and out of the premises much faster to enable the transport companies to get back out and return the empties.
Absolutely. What you'll find is your own administration staff, if you do 20 containers a week, let's say, your admin staff might book the containers for an 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock slot, and you'll only ever do 20 containers a week. We've had clients who have taken over the booking schedule because we know how long the containers take to unpack. Instead of doing 2 a day, we can pump out 8 in the day, and you'll get your 20 containers done in 2.5, 3 days, and then you've got 2 more days free to bring in more stock. Also, we come to your premises, which is more beneficial than having the containers unpacked at the yard or at the port somewhere else where someone else is doing it. It's a third party and they're charging you for my services anyway and marking it up. Then you're paying the massive cost to get it put onto a truck and have it delivered. The
loose cargo transport is expensive. It creates more risk of damage. But you mentioned a really good point. More and more larger importers and exporters who have got multiple containers on a vessel, they need to get that same vessel. You've only got a window of 3 days to pick it up. You've got to get it back very quickly, so to avoid those other charges. By using your crew, you cycle those through really quickly, and that actually inherently reduces your charge, your cost of doing business enormously. It's not cheap for detention and demurrage charges, as we all know, and you need to be as quick and as efficient as possible to smash that out.
We want to make your business as efficient as ours. If we've finished a container in an hour and you've got another one coming in 4 hours, we want to have that container there when we know our guys are going to finish. So we'll advise you when's the best time to have that container in. So you don't have any of those issues.
Fantastic, great. All right, now, as you know, we've got members right across the country. GDA look after any importer, exporter right throughout Australia, right? Yep. And are there any things that you don't do? Like, is it you do food and bev, you do normal, you do electronics, anything and everything, pretty much?
Unless it's going to blow up on us. So we'll keep away from hazardous. Unfortunately, if we went into the hazardous industry, then what would happen is our rates would go through the roof with our insurances, etc. So we'll keep away from it, which means we can still service 98% of the clients.
No, great. All right, and George, again, you're one of our very appreciative of having you as one of our platinum sponsors as GDA of the Australian Trade and Logistics Corporation, and you've kindly offered a special incentive, a special program price for our members.
Yes, we do. We have what we are going to do for anyone who signs up through ATLC. We're going to offer a 25% discount for the first month on all containers unpacked at your premises off the retail price. So after the first month, don't think it's all gone and lost. We'll then sit down with you again and we can reevaluate and we may be able to further on another discount.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Moving forward.
Especially the more containers you do in that first month,
the bigger the savings.
No, fantastic. Look, that's awesome. I think that we've really tried to give our members and the broader audience the education about the difference between insourcing and outsourcing when it comes to safe, fast, efficient container unpacks or packing for that matter with your exports as well. But it's the way of the future, way of the world now that enables the companies and our members to focus on what they're good at and use the best providers in the industry to really make their business more efficient, more productive and more profitable at the end of the day. So huge thank you to George, mate, always a pleasure.
Likewise, Lawrence.
Now we're looking forward to many more happy customers telling us about the great stories that GDA provide for them. 100%. And thanks very much. Just before we go, a huge thank you again to the Port of Melbourne. Port of Melbourne are fantastic supporters of industry here, right across importers and exporters right throughout Melbourne. And they put on at the Education Centre behind us, they put on a range of programs right throughout the year through other associations and industry groups to really make sure that importers and exporters are up to speed with the latest innovation, safety, rules, regulations right throughout the industry. And again, a massive thank you to Port of Melbourne for allowing us to use this fantastic location. We're blessed to have a great day. Thanks, and we look forward to speaking to you all again soon.